It seems every day here at Screen Rant, we're privy to new information about what almost happened in casting or filmmaking decisions. This info makes us wonder how a story would have turned out had a particular actor not turned down a role. If a discussion would have gone another way, or creative differences would have been able to be solved. Stay tuned as we uncover some actors who made decisions to walk away from major roles with no regrets. First, make sure to click that subscribe button to join our notification squad. Also, make sure to give us a big thumbs up and share this video. But before we start, can you guess what feature film these emojis are showing? Find out at the end of this video. Leonardo Dicaprio, American Psycho. In 1998, Leonardo DiCaprio was known for his clean-cut roles, from Arnie Grape in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, to Romeo in Romeo and Juliet, to Jack Dawson in Titanic. These roles are iconic, and created a particular fan base who loved him for a style of character. So, when it was announced he had been cast as the lead in American Psycho, fans and critics were excited to see him play a different style of character. But DiCaprio pulled out shortly after. DiCaprio and his managing team were scared it would alienate his fan base. But what would be so bad about alienating his fan base? Most of them were 13-year-old girls at the time, and they definitely shouldn't see a film like this one. The movie was based off a novel about a young, handsome urban professional who lives a second life as a gruesome serial killer by night. When the novel was first released, people flocked to buy it, but no one wanted anyone to know they were reading it. The director ended up getting his first pick, Christian Bale, and history was made. This is definitely one role we were happy to see he passed on. Emily Blunt, Black Widow, and Peggy Carter. Every year that passes is another golden year for actor Emily Blunt. She continually stars in major blockbuster films and is currently slated to star as Mary Poppins in the 2018 Mary Poppins Returns. So, it's no surprise to discover her name popping up for superhero movies. What is surprising is she has currently turned down 2 Marvel roles. One of the roles was to play Black Widow in Iron Man 2, and the other was in the Marvel TV series Agent Carter as the main character, Peggy Carter. For the role of Black Widow, she spoke with Screen Rant's own Kofi Outlaw, and let it be known she has no regrets about not taking the part. It wasn't the right timing for her, and she was impressed with Scarlett Johansson's portrayal. For the role of Peggy Carter, she had the same response about timing, but added about it not being the right part for her. All of this is too bad, because we know Emily Blunt would have been fantastic. She stands adamant, though, about having no regrets missing out on several recurring roles in the Marvel films. She's confessed she wants to play a superhero, but only if it's the right time and right part. Matthew McConaughey, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Back when Marvel was casting for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Matthew McConaughey was in the works for the role of Star-Lord's father. This made a lot of sense, since Chris Pratt can have a similar alright attitude. Unfortunately for audiences, it wasn't meant to be. McConaughey passed on the role, and the great Kurt Russell ended up taking the lead. But what happened with McConaughey? Apparently, at the time, it was between 2 films for him to star in. The other role was a Stephen King adaptation called The Dark Tower, which he loved, and he thought the script was really well written. He also liked the director and his vision for the film. The biggest reason for McConaughey turning down the role was because of how successful the film was. Wait, what? How is that a reason, you ask? Well, he felt the producing team was hot off their success from the first film, and they just wanted another big actor. This made him feel as though he was just an addendum to the film. So, with the Stephen King film, he would take on a role in a franchise starter, not a franchise. We can't blame him, though. He is an actor who loves a challenging role, and we love him for that. Johnny Depp, Ferris Bueller. It's almost impossible to imagine any other actor but Matthew Broderick playing the role of Ferris in director John Hughes' acclaimed 1986 Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But whether you want to believe our word or not, Broderick was not the first choice. At the time of casting, Johnny Depp was a Hollywood up-and-comer. He was being considered for the role of Ferris, alongside Jim Carrey and Tom Cruise. In the end, though, Depp had to decline the role because of scheduling conflicts with other projects. Now, we all know it would have been something to see Depp's take on the now iconic character, but wasn't sure how well it would have played on screen. The roles Johnny Depp has played throughout the years have come to define him as the king of kooky and a brooding, suave, charming fellow. But that's now, not then. The 80s Depp was not the same type of actor he is today. At the time, the role was in need of a more suave, geeky cool sort of guy. What we do know is with Depp at the helm of Ferris, it would have been a sight to see him slacking off, singing and dancing in a huge parade. Will Smith, Superman Returns and The Matrix. Will Smith is no stranger to turning down roles. He's turned down roles from Quentin Tarantino's Django Unchained, Joel Schumacher's Phone Booth, and even the 2006 Superman Returns. Since Christopher Reeves retired his cape, Hollywood has had a lot of trouble successfully casting the iconic role. In 2006, they reached out to Will Smith, but he turned it down. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see a whole new Superman. The film went on to feature Brandon Routh as the Man of Steel. We would have loved to have seen Smith in the role. Another role Smith turned down with no regrets was Neo in the Wachowskis' 1999 The Matrix. When Smith was offered the part during the casting process, he was given the script to read. After reading it, he turned it down, and history was made with Keanu Reeves as Neo. But what happened? Smith explained that The Matrix was an extremely difficult concept. He just didn't understand the role. After watching Keanu, he proclaimed how phenomenal Keanu did, and that had he taken the role, he would have messed it all up. At the time, Smith wasn't a smart actor, as he proclaims. Anne Hathaway, Silver Linings Playbook. Jennifer Lawrence stole the world's heart with her role as Tiffany in Silver Linings Playbook. Lawrence plays a quirky widow who falls for a bipolar man fresh out of a psychiatric hospital. Her portrayal was received with critical acclaim worldwide and garnered her awards for Best Actress with almost every award show in the world, including a Golden Globe, Critics' Choice, BAFTA, and an Oscar. But all of this acclaim could have gone to Anne Hathaway had she accepted the role. Harvey Weinstein spoke out on The Howard Stern Show, confessing Hathaway was his first choice for the part. Hathaway turned down the part, citing creative differences with the director David O. Russell. Not much else has been said, other than that they didn't see eye to eye creatively. After Hathaway pulled out, the creative team brought in a few actresses and immediately fell in love with Lawrence. With Lawrence in, Mark Wahlberg, who was to play opposite Hathaway, was replaced with Bradley Cooper to be a better match. But don't feel too bad for Hathaway just yet. For her role in Les Miserables in the following year, she garnered just as much acclaim worldwide and awards in all the top award shows. Josh Hartnett, Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man. Josh Hartnett, now that's a name not uttered much these days. Back in the late 90s and early 2000s, he was a common household name and played in every epic film. He was a teen heartthrob who was skyrocketing to infamous stardom. He played major roles in Halloween, Pearl Harbor, Black Hawk Down, Sin City, and so much more. His IMDb is flooded with films every one of you watching has seen and loved. Then all of a sudden, he just sort of fizzled from the limelight. What happened, you ask? Well, prior to Christopher Nolan casting Christian Bale as Batman in Batman Begins, Hartnett was first on the list. Nolan wanted him and tried hard to get him. Hartnett, however, said no. He was exhausted and wanted to spend more time with friends and family. On top of that, he was worried about being typecast as a one-note actor, so he also turned down the role of Superman and Spider-Man, stating the same reasoning. Unfortunately for him, this sort of act is frowned upon in the industry. No one likes to be told no. After this, many roles he was up for were taken away, such as the lead in Nolan's The Prestige. Back then, Hartnett did not regret his decision for turning these major roles down, but today, he fully regrets them. Matt Damon, Harvey Dent. Matt Damon is one of Hollywood's golden actors. Any character Damon portrays blows up box offices around the world. Fans and critics globally have adored him since he first hit the screen with Good Will Hunting, took on the casinos with Ocean's 11, and then snuck around as a spy in the Bourne Identity franchise. So, when Christopher Nolan was casting Harvey Dent, better known as Two-Face, for The Dark Knight, it seemed to be a perfect match. Damon was unable, however, to take on the role of Dent. Not for lack of desire, though. Reportedly, Damon really wanted the part, but just couldn't take it due to what he calls a scheduling thing. Damon also reported he never even had the opportunity to speak with famed director Christopher Nolan, who he's a huge fan of. He has no regrets though, and believes that no one could have played Harvey Dent better than Aaron Eckhart. There are some roles every now and then you get which you just can't do. So for him, he has no regrets turning this huge role down. Charlie Hunnam, 50 Shades of Grey. Sons of Anarchy and King Arthur Legend of the Sword star Charlie Hunnam was originally cast as the lead in the globally anticipated adaptation of E.L. James's 50 Shades of Grey. It was a role which was to be a complete departure from his role as Jax, the leader of a biker gang. He would have become a suave, charismatic, fetish-driven billionaire and had every woman swooning over him. However, this was not meant to be. After signing on to play Mr. Grey, Hunnam dropped out. He cited his reasoning as having a nervous breakdown. Hunnam was being pulled in so many different directions, at the time saying, 50's gonna be massive, it's gonna be huge. He was worried about failing on such a globally grand scale. On top of that, transitioning from Jax Teller to Christian Grey in the span of a week was too much. With Hunnam out of the picture, casting started over and landed upon actor Jamie Dornan. This was huge for the semi-known Dornan, as he will ultimately rise to stardom with the franchise. Hunnam felt damned if he did and damned if he didn't, but made a decision which he does not regret to this day. Emilia Clarke, 50 Shades of Grey. 50 Shades of Grey is a story which has been surrounded by controversy since the book was published in 2011. It was the story everyone was reading but no one admitted to. When the highly anticipated film was in the works, the world went nuts with the idea of seeing the insanely detailed, descriptive, erotic romance novel brought to a visual form. When casting began, Game of Thrones star Emilia Clarke was first on the list. Fans were elated at the possibility of seeing Clarke take the screen in this portrayal. However, Clarke turned down the part. Taking on the role meant a lot more than learning some lines, hair and makeup, and publicity photos. Whoever took on the character was obligated to some risque nudity requirements. Clarke didn't want to be pigeonholed in her career as an actress who only got roles for her body. She's not against performing roles in the future with nude scenes, just not right now. Who can blame her? Even if you haven't read the book, you've definitely heard of the scandalous details from a friend. Clarke is happy with her decision, and we know she'll do just fine after the final episode of Game of Thrones airs. Which one of these actors do you agree with for turning down the role? Which one can't you believe they did? What actors and role would you have included in the list? Let us know in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you can see more videos like this and more from our playlist. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, and as always, remember to share. Oh yeah, here's the answer to the emoji. Thanks for watching.